Hello, everyone. Lovely to be with you. So simply rest, relax, allow, be. Relaxing the habitual tendency to try to figure things out, the habitual tendency to do something. So for the duration of this meeting, do nothing. Allow your attention to rest in its source without wandering in the past or the future. So that all activities are suspended in the space of awareness. Dissolved in pure being. Notice whatever appears to you without labeling it, without memory. Notice that everything you're experiencing right now, hearing these words, the sensations within your body, they appear at zero distance from yourself. You meaning the reality which is, which perceives, the knowingness, the formless, awareness, without any reference to the past, without any reference to any narrative about your experience. Everything which appears to you appears as you in complete intimacy. There is nothing in your experience which is apart from consciousness, from your reality, from you. Conceptually, we may conceive of ourself as the body, sitting at home, and the world is conceived to be out there. But when you suspend the conceptual mind and rest as presence, as awareness, everything is yourself. There is no in here and out there. Experientially, you are everything without being a thing. The storyline about your life is not the storyline about you. It is the storyline about your body mind, the family of the body mind, the body mind events. Because you have no narrative. You have no history. The body mind has a history. Whatever that means. But you don't. The body mind is separate from the mountain or the river, but not really. The water of the river and the elements of the river are the same motor of this body, the same elements. To make conceptual distinctions only serves in a limited way, in a practical way, but does not refer to reality. So feel yourself as this vastness. Allow the imaginary borders to dissolve. Feel your breath filling the entire universe. notice and feel it, that there is no separation experientially. Be not knowing, feel the vastness, the stillness. You are the entirety, the totality. There is nothing which is apart from yourself, your true self. Feel it, make it your experience, not just words you're hearing. Without referring to the mind, without referring to the past. You are this vastness, this universal presence. So if you have any questions, anything that you would like to explore. Please go ahead. Any questions?
Hey, Maggie. I'd like to ask a question. It's Frank. I'd like to ask a question.
Frank.
Hey, can you talk about? I've asked you this. I've asked you about this many times before, but I'm still curious about it. And I know I'm not supposed to understand mind wise, but I'd like to get a real understanding deep down, a real understanding from the consciousness level, what memory is all about, and how if we're all made of consciousness, that is our base. That's where everything stems from, is consciousness, and everything is made of consciousness. Um, why do we lose memory, and how important is that? And I want to add to this that I've seen YouTube videos about people who've lost their memory and have regained it. Like there was a YouTube video of a woman who was in a elderly home, and she's made a complete recovery from having Alzheimer's. She didn't remember anybody in her family. She was completely lost, and she came back to herself. So I've got all these questions about around this whole thing of memory, and I know I've talked to you about this before, but can you add anything to this at all? And I know at this point, the one good thing I've gotten from listening to you over the years is that I'm not going to understand this with my mind. So I'm open. I like the idea of not knowing, but I think that's also a portal to knowing, is not knowing. Is that right? Anyway, go ahead. I don't want to add anything extra to this, but if you can make sense of what I said, I'll just mute myself and listen.
Okay. So for the functioning of this human biocomputer, it's important to remember where are the keys of your car, right? Because you may need to go shopping or you may need to go to work. It's important for you to recollect where you put your keys. It's also important for the functioning of this body-mind, this biocomputer, to remember the name of the body and to remember the address of the house where this body lives, etc. So for the functioning, the survival of the biocomputer, memory is essential. This practical memory, right? Why don't we remember everything? Because this biocomputer is designed to have preferential memory or discriminative memory, or certain, to pick and choose what's relevant. It's not important, to remember driving from the market to your home, how many right turns and how many left turns, which definitely you experience every time you made a right turn, you experience that, or when you're driving, making a left turn, you experience that. Oh, what's the point of that? It's irrelevant. Maybe during the day you meet 20, 30 people in the market, in the store, at whatever, in different situations. Of what functionality is it to remember all these people, their names, what they looked like, whatever, all those details? It's an overload, unnecessary overload for the biocomputer. Now, when you're talking about consciousness, meaning I'm talking about reality, changing conversation. We're no longer talking about the biocomputer. We're no longer talking about the instrument. We're talking about knowingness. We're talking about that which is and cannot be. Awareness, consciousness. Everything is created and perceived and known by consciousness. Every little detail, how many flips of the wing does the hummingbird do per second, the entire design of that, every thought that exists in the entire universe, every movement, every field of energy, every galaxy, and what's happening within every galaxy is known and by consciousness, because consciousness is the reality that conceives and perceives infinite possibility, infinite creations, infinite possibilities, way beyond this limited body-mind human experience. Now, if the question is, does consciousness remember all of that? It doesn't need to. What purpose is memory for consciousness? It's sufficient for consciousness to create certain functional memory within the human biocomputer. So we remember where our keys are, where our home is, etc. But beyond that, no use. So it doesn't bother. It's not a question that applies to consciousness. Now, in terms of, people, meaning biocomputers, losing their memory and then recovering their memory, it's like sometimes in the old days we used to have radios and they used to have static, and then we sort of have to adjust, adjust the radio in such a way that the static is gone and now we can listen to the program. I mean, that's in the old days. So in the human biocomputer, similarly, there is Alzheimer or forgetfulness, forgetting. You don't know anymore where your house is, what your name is, the name of the body-mind, the house of the body-mind. Who are the children of this body-mind, no longer remembering that. And in that case, the human tribe takes care of the elderly, takes care of the people who have Alzheimer. So that's also in the design, because it's not so important any longer to remember the name of my kids. What's the point? Or remember even that they are my kids. It doesn't have is not necessary for consciousness. Now, for the how we live, we give great importance uh, to memory. We give great importance to remembering our children, our parents, and for good reason, because it makes things easier. But when we forget our memory, it's not that bad. It may be more difficult for people around us because now they have to take care of us. But that's okay. That's an act of love. Taking care of each other that's what we do. I mean, we're a tribe. We're a human tribe, so we take care of each other. But for the person with Alzheimer, meaning forgetting, having lost their memory, what's the problem? It's not a problem. Why does it happen? It's just part of the design. In certain cases, some cars, the rust starts to eat through the vehicle a little faster than maybe it's been exposed to more salt, or it's been occurring in a humid weather. It rusts much faster than a car in a drier climate. So yeah, we try to fix the rust, make sure the car functions still, is useful at some point. Whether the car is in a humid climate or dry climate, all cars, the destiny of all cars is the junkyard. But I think that people with Alzheimer, they can feel the love when they're taken care of and loved and embraced. It's great. Maybe a good opportunity for us, to express our love, to express our caring. Don't make a big deal out of memory, Frank. Don't worry about it. Who cares about the biocomputer? We're talking about realizing your true self, your true nature as this borderless awareness, you see. That's not reversible. That's not something you need to remember, It's an irreversible understanding. But remembering a lot of things is reversible. If sometime I trip, I fall on my head, I may forget a lot of things, in a millisecond. Boom. And people have been wounded in the brain wounds and affected their memory in one instant. That's reversible, you see, where everything you remember can be forgotten. Big deal. what we're talking about here is something else. So know yourself as this presence, not as a functioning brain, remembering. Of course, the brain is doing what it's doing, you know. We nourish the brain, we feed the body, etc. But we're not that. That's just a vehicle we're taking care of. It's an instrument. Of course, we have to honor it, respect it. I am not speaking about ignoring the body-mind, but don't identify yourself with body and its memory and its. You understand what we are sharing here. You've been understanding it for quite a while. That's sufficient.
Yeah.
That's sufficient. See
No,
that?
thank you, Maggie. That's very helpful. I guess there's a part of me still hanging onto this idea that consciousness is like the old God that we all used to believe in as kids, where, you know, the God that is always there and loving everybody and would never allow anything bad to happen to anybody. But I'm thinking, I guess I was thinking back in those days, everybody was a separate person, of course. In my mind now, it's a different story. I know that there's just one self. And anyway, I do see things differently today. But there is that part of me that wants to believe that there's a part of us that never forgets anything that happens. But like you said, that's not who we are anyways. It's
what for? It'll be an overload, man. It's like you know, writing a journal. If you're writing a journal of your life, and then you look, you've written 57 million words, you know, throughout your life, and we're gonna go back and read all these. What's the point? What is the point of this?
Yeah, no, I do get that part of it. It's just things like you were saying, forgetting your children. I see my mom struggling with this. She's forgetting. Like the other day, she didn't know if I was myself or my brother. She didn't know which one of us I was.
Yeah.
And that's painful for both of us. And she realized what she did right after, and she was sad about it, and I was sad about it. But I'm realizing that's just part of that disease. And but then I have this other understanding now that we can't lose who we are as the one consciousness. We can't lose
Right.
whatever is ours is permanent. So there's an understanding of that, but there's also the other part of it that's still in the human realm, I guess. Anyway, I just wanted to, but that helped. What you said really helps a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know, with your mom, I think if she's feeling bad about forgetting or confusing you with your brother, just recomfort her. Tell her it's okay. Don't worry about it. You know, we're both the same, and we both love you. You know?
Yeah.
Don't
That's
burden.
exactly what I told her.
Yeah, right.
That's exactly what I told her. Yeah, I did. No?
Right. And yeah, not to judge herself if she, you know, and you remember her, so you take care of her. as long as you remember her, you take care of her. At some point in time, maybe I won't remember my children anymore, and somebody else will remember them and take, you know, and take care of them. Yeah, it's
yeah. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's very, very helpful.
Yeah, the all-knowing God, the all-knowing reality is you, consciousness, not Frank, not Frank. All-knowing. All-knowing doesn't mean tremendous memory. No, who cares about memory?
Because it just knows the present. There's no future, no past. So it just.
Well, you just understand that the present means eternity, means everything, means consciousness. The present does not mean what's appearing in this moment. The present is pure beingness.
Okay.
There is no recording in being, in presence.
We're talking about phenomena. So when we're talking about human beings, we're talking about phenomena, and that's not what consciousness is. Not worried about phenomena, right?
Well, consciousness doesn't know worry. Okay, worry or concern or whatever belongs to imaginary entity, an imaginary entity. In terms of the human experience, which is God's creation, which is the creation of awareness, of consciousness, there is the impression of time, there is thought, memory. Some of it is functional, some of the functioning of the human organism is for the celebration. Let's throw a party and invite friends over. Some of the functioning of the human body is for contemplation, like the conversation we're having now. Some of the functioning of the human body is for creative expressions, painting, dancing, whatever, creating, creative thought. But you need to understand that all of these dimensions are like waves on the surface of the ocean. They are manifestations of the unmanifest. They are a dream. God's dream that is being dreamt using body-mind systems. So there is a body-mind system operating, which is the creation of consciousness, which is made out of consciousness. It's like the waves on the surface of the ocean are made out of water. And this system is so amazing. Well, everything about consciousness is amazing. Consciousness is amazed by itself. But this human system is so intricate and is capable of such amazing functions, you know, like, for example, speaking or perceiving it. But colors, making distinctions between various colors. But it's all the creation of consciousness, and the game, that which is playing the game, is consciousness itself. That which is perceiving right now is consciousness. What we refer to as I am perceiving the rainbow. I'm perceiving the rainbow. It is I is the perceiving element, is that which perceives. In this moment, that which perceives is invisible, is formless. One could say that that which is perceived has a form, like a rainbow has various colors, which is fine. That's one way of speaking about it. It's the conceptual realm of making distinctions between various colors. This conceptual realm as well, with all its distinctions, is the creation of consciousness, and it is consciousness itself which designs that and uses, you know, that its creativity to tickle itself, to play with itself. The game which we refer to, the game of human existence, life and death, playing on the beach, children playing in the sandbox, human beings building highways and polluting the ocean because they have overlooked, which means that consciousness is playing the game of identification, meaning now I am a human being. I have power to control the planet, to control my neighbors, to control my partner, to the game of ignorance itself, as well as the creation is also the game that consciousness is playing. So in fact, your entire phenomenal experience is just a God's whisper, meaning your whisper, because there is no reality outside of the reality of consciousness. We say the reality of consciousness. That's one way of speaking. There is no reality outside of that one reality. Whatever that one reality is, it is that it's present now. It is present now as everything you experience. And it's present now as you knowing yourself to be this awareness, to be this consciousness.
Thank you, Maggie. Appreciate it.
Okay, Frank. Nice talking.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Any questions? Okay. Well, thank you all. Lovely to be with you, Mr. Holger, Frank, Patrick, Charles, Mahdi, Laura, Kunel, Jackie, Lynn, Bill, Gita, and my sweet Tara. Thank you, Art.
Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you, Magdi.
Thank you, Magdi.